Hi, and welcome to What Do You Know When You Know a Word, Part 1. This is a series of videos designed to explore hidden areas of knowledge that you have tucked away in your brain about English. Let's get started. If you were to ask the average person on the street, what do you know when you know a word, that person will probably come up with 3 different items of information. You have to know the word's meaning, how it's pronounced, and how it's spelled, more or less. These 3 areas are indeed critical, basic pieces of information that you need to be in total control of before you can use words like a native speaker. But wait, there's more. Lots more. You have in your brain what I call hidden dimensions of knowledge. Let's say that the meaning, pronunciation, and spelling information is represented in your brain by the little fuchsia oval that you see in front of you. I don't mean to say that this is where this information is located at all. The information is spread all over your brain. However, metaphorically, let's use this as a point of reference. In addition to these 3 areas, you have a much larger body of knowledge, hidden knowledge about words that you have amassed over the years. Meaning, pronunciation, and spelling are areas that your conscious brain is very aware of. The rest of the information is tucked away in what I call your speaking brain. And this is the area that we're going to examine. Hidden areas in your speaking brain above and beyond meaning, pronunciation, and spelling. The first thing we're going to look at is how words change. If you use words like a native speaker in English, then you have to be in total control of how to change these words. First example, let's look at prefixes. I'm going to give you a positive word. I want you to give me the negative using a prefix. For example, if I say legal, the negative of legal is illegal. Okay, here we go. Possible, impossible. Relevant, irrelevant. Appear, disappear. Divisible, indivisible. Reliable, unreliable. You have just used 6 different prefixes to form the negative version of the positive word. Are these prefixes interchangeable? Can you say, for example, that something is dislegal? No, of course not. That sounds silly. What about unpossible? Can something be impossible? Absolutely not. These prefixes are not interchangeable. They have to be exactly where you put them when we ran through this. So, let's recap. You use 6 different prefixes. You access them instantaneously. You didn't have to think through a list of them and figure out which one to use. It all came to you at once. You were 100% accurate. The answers are absolutely not interchangeable. So, now I have some questions for you. Did you know any of these prefixes when you were born? No, of course not. Do you remember practicing these pairings? Do you remember saying to yourself, now let's see, the opposite of legal is illegal, but the opposite of appear is disappear. So how can I remember that it's not dislegal but illegal? It's not ill appear, it's disappear. No, you didn't have to go through that at all. Was your conscious brain involved in the acquisition of these prefixes? No. Since you didn't have to practice it and rehearse it, you acquired them somehow naturally as part of English. Does some logical process help you know which is which? Is there something illogical about saying that something is illogical? Not at all. Or unlogical? No. What about disresponsible? Nothing wrong with that, we just don't say it that way. So there's no logical process that's going to help you. Is this kind of material difficult for children to learn? Absolutely not. You learned it, most of it, when you were a child. I wish I could say you were some kind of child prodigy, but I can't. Every child born into a native English-speaking environment learned these naturally. Is this difficult for adult non-native English speakers to learn? Absolutely. They have to work with it. There's no logic. They aren't interchangeable. They just have to remember them across time. Very difficult. Here are a few factoids then about prefixes. English has 11 negative prefixes. You just demonstrated an ability with 6 of them. You can use all 11 of them equally well. We have almost 130 prefixes in total. 11 negative plus the remainder of all kinds of prefixes. You know and use more than 50 on a regular basis. Here are a few examples. Half a sphere is a hemisphere. Half a circle is not a hemicircle, it is a semicircle. If it's relating to Earth, it is geographic. If it's relating to people, it is demographic. If we're talking about male and female, it is heterosexual. If we're talking about male and male, it is homosexual. Simple, right? All right, now let's look at the other side. Let's look at suffixes. In this little example, I'm going to give you the country, and you give me what you would call a person from that country. For example, if I say China, you would say Chinese. A person from China is Chinese. If I say Cuba, a person from Cuba is Cuban. A person from Brazil is Brazilian. A person from Iraq is Iraqi. A person from Spain is Spanish. A person from Peru is Peruvian. So here we have it again. You use 6 different suffixes to form the people word from the country word. Are they interchangeable? Can you say that somebody from China is a Chinian or Chinian? No, of course not. That's silly. How about QBs? Can people be QBs? No, they have to be Cuban. So the answers are not interchangeable. All right, here we go again. You use 6 different suffixes instantaneously, effortlessly. You were 100% accurate, and the answers are not interchangeable. So again, I ask you the same questions. Did you know any of these suffixes when you were born? Of course not. Do you remember practicing the pairings? Again, of course not. Was your conscious brain involved? Not really. You just somehow absorbed them. Does some logical process help you know which is which? Is there something illogical about saying somebody from China is Chinish or Chinean? No, we just don't say it that way. Is this difficult for children to learn? No. You and everybody around you learned it effortlessly. Is it difficult for adult non-native English speakers to learn? Of course. There's no logical underpinnings. They're not interchangeable, so you have to absolutely remember which is which. Not easy. All right, a few factoids. English has over 300 suffixes. You know and use 50 plus on a regular basis. Certain professions, medical for example, use many more suffixes. Here are some examples. If I give you educate, and education is very important. Settle. Our house was 6 miles from the nearest settlement. Weak. Alcohol was his weakness. Honest. What is a very important quality? Honesty. Fail. What was not an option? Failure. Annoy. The hum during the concert was an annoyance. Immigrate. My neighbor is an immigrant from Rwanda. So here we have 6 more suffixes, not interchangeable, that you use with, again, 100% accuracy and completely simple to you. Okay, so you say big deal. 6 prefixes, 6 suffixes. That's not a huge undertaking. Let's step back and look at the whole picture. When you were born, here was your job. Let's say somebody gave you a list of 40,000 plus words to learn. You had to learn their meaning, their pronunciation, and their spelling. And you had to access them instantly. You couldn't fumble around trying to find them or work with them. Then we add on top of that 50 plus prefixes. You had to learn 50 plus suffixes. You had to know which prefixes go with which words, which suffixes go with what words. They're not interchangeable. You have to know which goes with which. In addition to knowing the meaning, pronunciation, and spelling of these prefixes and suffixes, you had to know how the prefixes and suffixes affected the meaning, pronunciation, and perhaps spelling of the 40,000 words that you've learned. That was your job when you were born, and you mastered it beautifully. This information is a small piece of the information that is tucked away in your speaking brain. Incredibly detailed, finely nuanced, very difficult to acquire as an adult, and yet you have it with ease. We have so far looked at a tiny piece of the knowledge that you know about prefixes and suffixes. Your knowledge about how words change, prefixes and suffixes, is but a tiny piece of the knowledge that you know about words that is hidden away in your speaking brain. An exploration of this information, what it contains, how it functions, what controls it, these are fascinating areas to explore. For additional information, please go to my website, languageandbrain.com. There you will find links to more information and more reading material. I will also be uploading more YouTube videos dealing with other aspects of your speaking brain and the truly massive amount of data that it contains. Finally, I have written a book and am currently looking for a publisher. The name of the book is What Do You Know When You Know a Word? I will keep you posted on the website as progress is made toward this publishing. If you want more information about it, you would like to read more of it, please email me. My email address is several different places in the website. Thank you for taking the time to go through this with me. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to working with you in future videos. Thank you.